Okay. So you got a draft notice.
And I didn't want to go in the Army, so I went right over to the Marine Corps. They were delighted to have me.
What was it about not going, what had you feeling like you didn't want to go into the Army?
Well, I really preferred the Marines. That's why. I had nothing against the Army.
Sure.
In fact, the Army had way more people. Most of my friends all went in the Army. A few went in the Navy. Nobody went in the Coast Guard.
Right.
And nobody went in the Marines except me.
From the time you went in, how long was it before you were off to battle?
Not long.
Maybe a month or two?
Huh?
Maybe a month or two?
Oh, longer than that.
Oh, okay.
More like a year.
Wow. But you know what? We're not going to jump here, okay?
Okay.
A lot of training. I went first to Hawaii, then to New Guinea,
You talked to Celeste? They're not going to meet us?
went to Guadalcanal, and then to Peleliu.
There was somebody...
How long were you in Peleliu?
To train? Okay. So it's too late.
Maybe a couple months. Peleliu only lasted a couple of weeks. Even though we lost a lot of men,
Verna.
and we
What the hell is the name of this
we
place?
killed
It's something
roughly
Lim.
10,000 Japanese. We buried them in
Been there a long, long
a
time.
big pit.
No kidding.
Even the Chinese
Wow.
go there.
And then after I got
there's Kim's Express,
injured,
12-mile road in Berkeley, but
they
that's
sent
not
me to
where we live
Guam.
on it. Oh, you're there.
that hospital,
Well, that's Cam anyway.
Said-
Here. Kim's Garden.
we can't do anything for you. We're going to send you to
Here, yeah.
San
There you go.
Francisco.
East
No,
Long
Hawaii.
Lake Road here.
They sent me back to Hawaii.
Kim's Restaurant, Bernadette.
Hawaii
This is
sent me to San Francisco.
Where is it?
I had
It
received
says
orders to go to Quantico to get a
East Long Lake
commission
Road in
to
Troy,
be
honey.
a
The
lieutenant.
phone number is
I
248.
wanted to get I've still got those papers.
Right. Oh, do you really?
Well, the doctor said, Ross, we can't let you go to Quantico because you don't hear good enough.
On the camera. He's recording it.
Well, he argued, but I wasn't going to win. They sent me to Philadelphia.
Huh.
And that's where I got discharged.
When you got discharged, were you...
July 5, 1945. That was early. And I was accepted for Yale Law School. Well, I was chumming with a bunch of buddies from the University of Michigan. Finally, Yale Law School called me and said, we really have to know whether you're going to come to our law school or not, because we're making a class up. And I said, well, you better leave me out, because I've got a job and I'm sort of happy. And that's, from that time, I became a salesman.
When you were discharged in July of 45, that was... I can't remember the timeline of when the atomic bomb was just a couple months later. So Germany had already finished. They had already surrendered. As they surrendered in April or May of 1945, but there was still fighting going on in the Pacific.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I really don't know the time.
So you came back before the bombs were dropped.
Do you remember?
I think so.
Yeah.
So when you were discharged, were you... Obviously, I know you were injured, but were you unhappy about the idea of not continuing on as a Marine? I mean, was your ambition at the time to continue with the Marines for many, many more years?
I was going to be a 20-year man.
No kidding.
And
you were just up for officer training, as I recall you telling me.
when they
You make it okay?
they mustered me out, I wanted to stay in the reserves. But they said, no, we can't let you stay in the reserves because you don't hear good enough.
Okay.
But see, I was USMCR. And there's an old saying, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yes.
And that's true.
That's really something. That is really something. When you were in Japan, or you were, yeah, Peleliu is an island off of Japan, isn't it?
No.
Or is it somewhere in the Pacific between Guam and Japan? Or where exactly is it?
That's a long ways from Japan.
Oh, okay.
At least 1,000 miles.
Oh, okay. Okay. When you were fighting, see, I think at that time, my understanding, you lived it. I've only studied it. The history of that time is that Japan was a clear and present threat to the U.S., where Germany was not. But historically, everybody who studies World War II thinks largely only of Germany as the world dominators and doesn't really see how Japan...
I don't agree with you on that.
You don't think that's how people look at
Everybody
today?
knows that Japan attacked our country.
Oh,
at
yes.
Pearl Harbor.
They attacked our... But what I'm saying is that if you... For example, in popular movies and things that are made about the war, it's... People still can identify or put that role together of Germany as going for world domination, where it's hard for people to see Japan as ever really trying to do anything.
Yeah, maybe.
But at that time, was there talk amongst your fellow soldiers about what was going on in Germany, or was it all focused on the Pacific?
All about our own war. Remember, we fought in the jungles.
Hmm. Very, very interesting history. That's a lot of history of what you've gone through that I've never known much about. I really appreciate you sharing it with me.